be on with a good chance today?
Well, do you know, there's a lot of riders in here on with a good chance today because there's some fabulous riders in Category 4, and this is a really interesting course. Now, last time we were here on Telmarib with the men, Category 4 winning time 72 minutes. Walker and Skierski have both progressed to Category 3. They were the top two here last time out, so those top two spots are open. Nick Squilari going well. Torsten Holtz, Ryan Giuliano, Kirchner, Ben Kirk, David Young, Robinson, Svort, Luke Allport. Well, you know what? Could be a good one for him.
I would never bet against Luke Allport on this course, ever, because it's kind of similar to Hollywood, which we know is the undisputed king of Hollywood Hills.
The undisputed king of Hollywood.
He is indeed the undisputed king of Hollywood.
Luke Allport.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be long before
Bruce
they're putting
Willis.
a star down for him. Yeah.
Oh,
indeed.
God, that'd be so cool.
It would, wouldn't it? What we would need to do is have a little look. Maybe there's a place alongside in Hollywood on the My Whoosh where the stars are down with some of the riders' names. That would be a super cool feature. Anyway, one of those stars is going to be Francis Pino. Pino sprinting through there, but not having the fastest time because Nicholas Spratt went from the back of the bunch to the front and has got that green jersey. The green skin suit indicates that the rider is leading on the sprints competition with one sprint done. It's the fastest time through that sprint, so don't forget. Watch out for those green skin suits. Green tops and green bottoms means that they are our sprinters rather than our Category 2 riders who have a green jersey. Gets confusing sometimes for people, I know. I appreciate that. Does for me too. Okay. Into Category 3, so moving up through the categories. Anzac's team, Bloom and Brook representing them, the Otero Alliance with Wojciech, one of the key riders for them over the last few months. BMC have got Niall Abati, who is desperately hoping that it's going to be the endurance climb in the finals. That's still to be confirmed at the moment. The Cycling District 3, the third Category 3 riders from Portugal, Vieira, Andrade, along with Piera. Level Golden with Golden Boy himself, Eric Rimborg, joined by Rune Bakken. You've got the What's Up squad, Christian Montoya, Marta Clays, but the Sandstorm squad going down early, playing those cards. 5 riders for them, Sinclair, Gates, Becker, Fourier and Fell. Fourier and Fell both riding well and on form at the moment, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they go. But I think this is our largest race field, if I'm not mistaken.
It is indeed. 58 riders on the start sheets today here in Category 3. Well, it is such a huge race field. It really, really is. You know, Bloom, Rimborg, Gates, Fell, Clays, Rushmer, Diduch is in there. Tidholm, Goodall, Vargas, Alramethri, Moreno, Oviedo, Joseph Miller's in here as well. Angarita, Kalman. Oh, Matthias Kalman could go well. Who else is here? Nikol Kansara, Kochakov is here as well. Edwards, Duma, Walker, who took the win in Category 4 last time we were here in January. He moved up to Category 3 this year. Trent Stevenson and Zach Petterston as well. You know, this is a massive race field. Who is going to take the win? Daniel Tidholm rode well here last time.
I wouldn't discount Mark Gates. Mark has been riding really strongly, really well. And we know he's got good power. He's got good pace and inspired, I hope, by that Australian national jersey behind him. I think a rider, I'm going to be really interested to see how he goes on the course with these short, sharp sprints and the short, sharp climbs on here. And can he make the team of 5 riders of Sandstorm count? Sinclair, Gates, Becker, Fourier and Fell. They are another real strong riders. Now, Henry East just taking a little bit of a leg stretch off the front of the group here. Wanted to keep the pace up here. Good to see, Good to see Henry East, one of our regulars on the Sunday Race Club, in action out of the saddle already. I tell you something, Henry East, I think, must have ridden every single course we race on one way or another, because he's doing some, he's always present. Again, a bit like Jeff Rudy, potentially going for an ever-present award for having done the most My Whoosh Sunday Race Clubs.
One day we'll actually do a little bit of work in the week and find out who has the ever-present
I've done some
title. Have you?
I have done some. And I have to say, it's not simple. That's simply because we've been going so long.
Records do not go back that far.
Not necessarily accurately enough.
Oh.
Because there's one thing having a result, but you want it to be accurate. That's why, of course, we have verification on the Sunday Race Club, and we have all of those checks against that. So before I say who's done the most, I would I wanted to double check. When I double checked, it didn't come out with the same answer. But much like most of my maths, let's face it. Now, one rider who is relatively new compared to some of our other presents is Ivo. Ivo, though, very much in the thick of action on a frequent basis. You can see him there on the left of your screen once again, and up and riding. Definitely a rider who I think could be in the mix. And Shure's got a good record overall on the Sunday Race Club, I think.
He also took 4th place here back in January on Tel Marib. Yeah. So this is a course that does suit him, you know.
And I think, if I remember correctly, I'm sure he's had at least one win on the Sunday Race Club. But that was on a long, long climb. Paso Alto.
That is a long... Well, yes, those are 2 long climbs. The final climb, not that steep as well. So interesting. Very, very different to today.
Yeah, 100% very different to today. Rick Van Erck just going through, taking the sprint. Another rider who's been impressing with his pace and power. Rick Van Erck, the rider from the Netherlands, not yet cracked the top 5 in a Sunday Race Club. I don't think he might. He might be on course to do that very shortly.
He's very focused on the sprint competition, and he very much is one of the really strong sprinters in the Category 3 packer, and on a number of occasions has taken that sprint green skin suit, setting the fastest time in Category 3 on that Eldar HQ sprint, the fastest time overall at the moment. Matthew Hooker, the Category 6 rider, still sat in 2nd place actually in terms of time. Fournier coming in close behind to Van Erck in Category 3. Nicholas Spratt taking the fastest time in Category 4. Marius Fosseed taking the fastest time in Category 5. So those riders thick and fast, but Van Erck, 1,167 watts average for that 200-meter sprint.
Big cake, big power. Now, rider who we haven't mentioned so much so far, Walter Clays. Clays, another of our class performers, another regular here on the Sunday Race Club. I feel he's coming back from a dip in performance results, not necessarily in form, but in terms of results, because I always think Walter Clays is going to be one of those riders who's just, when he gets this run running and he gets these wins going, he's just going to nail one after the other after the other after the other. It's not happened yet. No pressure. But I do think he's a rider who he's just been knocking on the door, then wasn't, and then is going. And I know we've got dynamic categories, but you know, he's done over 90 Sunday Race Clubs.
Yeah, and he's had some good performances as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's won, I think, 2 or 3.
Yeah, well, yes.
But I think he's got a lot more in it. I've got high standards for Walter. I have very standards for everybody, including myself. Mine are very low. In terms of performances, Walter Clays, I always think he's got it in him to be really, really right up there. And you know, I think a little bit of a dip of like it's going to change. I'm sure we're going to see him come back and absolutely flying. But you know, probably from about the middle of March, it's kind of just dropped a little bit. He was right up there. He did that sort of boom, boom, boom. You know, going really well. Then it's, you know, his section round about January was brilliant, and then he's just dipped off a little bit.
Well, you know, we can't all hold our form all year.
I'd like to hold my form for more than about 4 days. That'd be nice. And I don't mean my form in terms of holding cake in the correct position, because I've actually had 2 cake runs this week on the bike.
Well, there we go.
I have. I've been to the cake shop twice in 2 days. In fact, it was. Albeit they were recovery rides after a very long group ride where I got my head proverbially kicked in by pretty much everybody on the ride.
Not literally, metaphorically.
Pretty much metaphorically, but it felt like literally at the time. It's definitely long. It was really good though to get out with the group, and it did remind me of exactly why we, you know, the good bits about riding your bike, and there are some bad bits. There's not many, you know. Let's face it, a bad bike ride is always better than a good walk. But it's true. But when you ride in a bike and there's a group of you, and this doesn't matter what discipline or what whether you're on esports or wherever, when you're on, you've got a group, you're out and riding. It is brilliant to do that with your mates. It's brilliant to do that with a group that you have got a common goal and share that common goal. Ryan Dummer here, another rider who really rides well on Sunday Race Club. Really impressed by him and riding in company in the Pain Cave there.
Well, yeah, and doing the Welsh flag on his on the screen at the moment, and yes, I can tell you Tom Walker also has a Welsh flag, but yes, when you drive from England into Wales, the Welsh dragon welcomes you. So he's not just on the flag, he's in all the signs in Wales as well, and I always love that.
Dummer not yet to take a victory in the Sunday Race Club, so it'll be interesting to see whether he can do that today. Now let's jump across to Category 5. They're a bit further on to a race route, currently at 12.5k, which means we're 300 metres into the aquarium climb. We've not yet entered the subterranean world that is the aquarium with the water over the glass ceiling above, but we are on our way towards the arched entrance. You can see the glass ceiling though over the top. Hopefully nobody will smash through the literal glass ceiling. Well, the virtual glass ceiling rather than the metaphorical glass ceiling, if we're going to go doing pedantry for our vocabulary. As we go across to Category 2 very shortly, because guess what? They're pretty much ready to go to a race start. 45 seconds to race start in Category 2. Our penultimate race category, the Abu Dhabi cycling team, the one and only legendary Ivan Yuki lining up for them, up against Cycling District Team 2, which is Daniel Pinto and Thiago Clamott. We have got the smartest team, the biggest team in terms of numbers here today. Bengston Thiem, Betty Ritter and Walter all out to be the smartest in the bunch. Will the multicolored bunch take it away today? We're going to have to find out. Don't forget the hitmen are here. Ross Fawcett captaining them. You know, the UAE Falcons, Ahmed Al Talaji and Zaid Hamdan taking to a race start, but the aggressive team award of the year, the century, is always going to go to the UAE clan team. Mr. X100, Pavlo Bobovic and SS. And you can see we're in with Mr. X100 here from race start. A rider whose course today is going to definitely suit because it's aggressive. The only thing that he would wish for is it was even longer and even tougher climbs en route.
Well, it is indeed, as Category 2 go out of the start pen. It is indeed short and sharp, not long and draggy. SS on the front of the group, Kisnowski there as well, X100 in the mix. Cantasaro in here too. Category 2, 55 riders on the start sheets today. Betty was at the top of the tree last time we were in Tel Marib. Skirski, Havo, Nitko and Morel were top 5, but as I said at the start of the show, 1.2 seconds separate the top 7 riders in Category 2 last time we were on this course, and it could well be that you're throwing a blanket over the finish line again, because these riders here, there are so many on this list who could do the business today here in Tel Marib in Arabia. Mendakowicz, Shuran, Skirski, Milostic, Graves, Keradine, Betts, Zachnair, Ross Fawcett. Oh, Fawcett's been coming on strong, actually.
Phil Graves has been super strong.
Anders Bengston.
He knows how to. He's ridden all these climbs for years. Mohammed Al Alami, another rider who could be right in that mix. Khan Kane, Burt Kane duo. I mean, it's again something that's going to, like you said, the Category 2, really, really interesting. One man who I'm going to put some serious pressure on now.
No pressure.
Loads of pressure. Ivan Yuki, on your screens. This man is, it looks like he's currently in the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club by the look of that, because you can see some of the festival. They've been doing a lot of racing there recently, and good to see him in action once again. And Ivan, you'll be glad to know that I can finally get in to the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club kit that I got whilst I was out there. Yeah, it's all this riding. It's not the cake, believe me.
Oh,
It's because I've
too
actually
much.
managed to put enough kilometres in over the past few weeks to actually get in the kit.
I was a bit stuck actually when you started Category 2 because I was focusing a little bit on the Welsh Dragon, because all of a sudden I was talking about Welsh Dragons and Welsh flags, and I was thinking about Ivor the Engine.
Ivor the Engine,
which was a TV program when I was young that was created by the wonderful Oliver Posgate. Exactly, Ivor the Engine.
That is the noise it makes. That is the sound effect of the steam train.
All I could think about was, what was the name of the dragon? Idris.
Idris the Dragon.
Jones the Steam. Jones was the man who drove
It
Ivor
was
the
full
Engine.
of stereotypes. It
was indeed, but I loved it.
It was.
And I was just thinking dragons. Anyway, there's my story for the day.
If you wish to date Emma and her age, and don't want to just go to steal the information from the from whichever bit of social media you follow her on, you can look up Ivor the. I actually have an Ivor the Engine picture book.
Do you?
I do. I did up till about 4 weeks ago, and it may well have disappeared somewhere. That
well, can I just say, if you're trying to date me, I wasn't alive when the first episode aired.
Oh well, there you go.
In fact, my mum was only 4.
It's of its era. That's all I'm going to say. And Wales is not quite like that, but you can go visit Wales for some very, very amazing steam train rides. They are not an express train. They probably go slower than our bunch is moving at the moment, which is 50k an hour plus. As they go in through the sprint, a Spina putting down some big power there. He takes away the sprint, and I'm not surprised. That was a phenomenal kick.
Oh, can I just say, if you do want to go to Wales and you are interested in steam trains, go and do the Race the Train as part of your holiday. We'll talk about that a little bit later after we've got Category 1 off the line.
Okay, we might not. So here we go. This is Category 1. We have got our top of the three. We should ought to be serious. Actually, we shouldn't be serious, Category 1, because you know what? They're amazing. Abus Esports, so the Abus Synergy Squad, the Alpha Jaw Squad. Now they've got strength in depth. Churek with Justin Kaminsky and Jones. Boss Moves Only, Osborne Nussum, Vink Safrazedi. Farmwatt Squad, Andreasen, Puckett, Noren, and Plantero. They're the squads of those on your screens that have the big numbers, but today it's also about being able to ride strongly in the wheels when the pace is on. We're in with Leonard Chugles, a man who will be looking for race win as we set off on our final qualifier in April. The final qualifier, the final wave of riders away in our final qualification race prior to our finals next week, when that team competition comes into play across all 6 race categories. It does mean that if you haven't got your qualifying rides in now, then you're not going to get them in before next week. But you know what? Perfect time to get some training, some practice, maybe some inspiration whilst they are racing, ready for the first qualifier in May. Now, Category 1 up and away. Over half of the riders, actually, nearly 2/3 in teams on the start list here in Category 1. It does include our world champion, and got to say, Jason Osborne, maybe not as dominant as he has been of late, but he has been doing a lot of riding in multiple disciplines.
He's been gravel racing. And why not?
Yeah.
Gravel, cycling esports, combo.
It's a good combination, and I think there's a lot. You need power, you need to be reactive, you need to be able to deal with things changing very quickly. Those are the similarities. The fact
but you don't get mud and punches.
You don't get mud, you don't necessarily get punctures, but I do know somebody who did once get a puncture on a turbo train, and it wasn't me. You don't get the same data input about your competition that you can see here, because of course not only do we see the riders' numbers, but if our riders have a second screen or they have a DS or coach in their ear, they're going to be able to find out just how high Stefan Van Elst's heart rate is, exactly how much power he's putting down, whether he's in the draft, as you can with all of them. Van Elst, class rider.
Yes, took third place on the Telmarine course when we were here in January. Osborne, Vink, Van Elsvu, Yassin and Tugels were the top 5. He's been really, really dominant this year. He's been putting in some great performances week after week after week as Stefan Van Elst. He's on the line today, and so is Vink, so is Safra Zaidi, Andreas and Pucker, Plantero, Jacobs, Paradians, Kroll, Panizza is here. So really, really strong. Joel Lewis has been absolutely dialing it on the front as well. Since the word go, 1.9 kilometres into the race. And yes, Joel Lewis is still at the front. Niall Pedersen in the mix, Kel Power, Michael Vink. There we go. We are in the cave, in the garage. You can see it's dark outside where Vink is at the moment, and all times of the clock are riders' race. If they are in Australia and New Zealand, it is night time. They're in the USA and Canada. It's really early in the morning at the moment. But Tugels, Wu, Noren and Manchango all in the mix as the pack rolling strongly. But it's Vidal Mayer who goes off the front through the sprint at the moment. He keep going? Does he keep rolling? He does indeed, but Mayer and Paradians takes the green skin suit. Let's just take a look at that. Oh, yes, for Paradians, 1,253 watts average through the sprint, 17.4 watts per kilo. That is flying. Well, Paradians flying through the sprint, 11.3 seconds. Carlos Ospina taking it in category 2. Rick Van Erck taking it in category 3. That is a cracking time as well, 11.8. Nicholas Spratt in category 4. Marius Fossid in category 5. And Matthew Hooker, another phenomenal time in category 6, taking the win there in that sprint competition.
I'll tell you something, some of those sprinters were powered by their own dragon in the boiler, firing up the engine on the way through. I am just going to, we're going to do 2 last Ivor the engine things.
Are we?
We are going to do 2 last ones. First of all, if you do want to see it, go onto YouTube and look for the cartoon version of Ivor the engine, not the animated stop motion animation. The picture, the hand drawn animation one.
They were beautiful.
They're absolutely beautiful illustrations. So that's the one from me. Emma, go on, your last Ivor the engine. You're not allowed any more after this.
I'm not going to do Ivor. I'm going to do Race the Train. If you want to do the Race the Train for 2025, it is on the 16th of August. People come from all around the world. It's Towyn at Mid Wales. The Race the Train annual cross-country running is 14 miles up the hill and back down again. You have to beat the steam train. So the steam train leaves the station at the same time as the runners do. You have to run 14 miles. You go up the mountain. The train does have to turn around at the top, which is what takes time. Brian White is on our screen at the moment. He could fly in from the USA and race the train on the 16th of August in Wales.
Sorry, I was just very quickly just checking out the speed of our riders and just how fast they're able to go. Brian White, I'll tell you something, Brian White has come in with a bang. I mean, we talk about people announcing themselves into Sunday Race. So Brian White definitely doing some amazing riding. So let's see how he is going to go. So I think... we'll see how his racing is now. Brian White, one of our riders out on course. At the moment, on our screens, Dylan Kennett, left-hand side, a rider that you mentioned earlier, just ahead of Brian White, who's chasing. Dylan Kennett is an absolutely class rider. he's been taking it and handing it out there. He really has made himself at home, hasn't he? He's currently just on his way up the Leeward Desert Climb. And I tell you something, this Category 5 racing is hard because he's got a gap, but there's a big pack behind him.
Well, he has got a gap. It's just a small gap, 2 seconds at the moment, but he's pushing on. This is the top part of the Leeward Desert Climb. They've come up the steepest section. This is the last part before we get to the polka dot banner. We've then got a very long transition to the base of the Tel Marib multiple dune section. There's a point here at which can continue to go for the polka dot skin suit. Good option. But with that pack behind, my thoughts are he's going to slot back into the group and roll with them until they get to the Tel Marib dunes.
And for me, the worry is you go to half of the climb and you blow and go. When you get caught, you go backwards through that group. Always very, very dangerous. Interesting to see Andrew Downey on the move here. Andrew Downey, of course, who was in action in those Australian Championships in action there. Also looking good here today on the front on this slight rise. You just come around the turn and go onto this riser up through here. And it does start to tick into the riders' legs. We're 9 kilometres into this race route, and they've got to be starting to think about this aquarium climb and how they mix this up. We're just going to come up towards the roundabout, right turn, slight left, then onto the roundabout, then we head off to the aquarium climb. These little risers, if you go too hard here, it affects your aquarium climb abilities.
I sort of want to disagree with you.
Feel free.
I'd argue that they really sort of help your legs because you're pushing on, you're just putting a little bit more pressure through those pedals and getting ready for the climbs. They're not long enough to do some real damage.
No, they're not long enough to do some damage. I mean, Giselle Betty, he knows what he's doing. He's not going to be having an internal debate with Matt on one shoulder and Emma on the other shoulder about how hard he should go. He knows what he's doing here today. You see, he's got the energy to sit in the group and listen, watch the coverage, and to be able to.
Well, I'll tell you something. What he's also got the knowledge that he's won on this course before.
Yeah, is indeed true. So Giselle Betty nicely tucked in this group, an experienced racer, and this is a huge pack. Frederick Gombert in here, Skierski, Sinlander in here, Todd Allen Young as well. A lot of riders staying with this pace. An indication maybe that even the really aggressive riders, SS, Protect 100, Phil Graves, they're waiting a little bit longer.
Oh,
today.
I would too.
They're waiting until we go into the back end of this course.
Yes or no, as the case may be. We always say when you
sit on the fence, why don't you?
I know. I'm going to give you both options. I say yes because you look at the course and you look at the back end of this and you think, whoa, that's where the race is going to be won. But never make an assumption when you look at a course because someone could attack early and go, don't do what we expect. Let's do the unexpected. Lyndon Milostic at 7.6 kilometres going off the front of the Category 1 pack. They're rolling 3 seconds behind. Now let's just time trial away, shall we? Question is, are they going to chase him? Are they going to bring him back? Or are they just going to leave the rider hanging out in front of the expo sign?
All 3 of those simultaneously. Definitely. Leave him out.
Yes.
Leave him out. Don't bother chasing and make him work for as long as possible to try and blunt that sprint speed that we know that he has got. Now, one man who is probably one of the most experienced esports racers at the top level of the sport. Lionel Verjassin is on your screens on the left-hand side. Do give him a follow on social media. Have a look and see just at how good his palmares are, his track record of racing and riding. And as we move forward with the Alpha Jaw squad into the finals next week, and I think we need to be looking at that. He's going to be key, isn't he? Shurik, Verjassin, Kaminsky and Jones. It's all about having strength in depth in the team. And when you've got somebody like Lionel Verjassin, not only have you got a rider who's got the physical abilities, but he's got that experience. If something changes, if something goes wrong, if the different scenario comes up, he's got that in his background that allows him that extra depth that younger riders like Linda Milostic just haven't had the chance to build up. They don't have that background library of knowledge.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? So in the team competition in Category 1 men, Boss Moves only won in January. Boss Moves only won in February. Alpha Jaw was second in January. Alpha Jaw was second in February. March, it was all change in California because Aber Synergy took the win in the team competition in the men's Category 1. Alpha Jaw were second again. So Alpha Jaw have been second in every final this year.
And with the greatest respect to Daniel Shirek, Lionel Vajessa, Michael Kaminsky and Ollie Jones, who are top of the tree, they are not the current world champion. They are not Michael Vink.
Oh, hold on a minute.
And they are not currently the riders that we are saying are the top two. So to do that, what they're doing that by riding smart, strongly as a squad, not necessarily relying on individual superstars.
Consistency, team packing.
Brilliant riding by them.
Yeah, and I also think, you know, the Sunday Race Club is every Sunday across 12 months of the year. Let's not forget that. You cannot be top form for the entirety of that 12-month period. You have got to come off. You've got to come off of training, you know, at that high level at some point and take some period of rest. You know, they've also got other competitions that they're going to be keeping their eye on. We talked about Jason Osborne riding the World Gravel, you know, wanting that qualification for the World Gravel Championships, as well as riding and racing cycling esports. You know, there's also the fact that the World Championships, the announcement of it being on the 15th of November, the riders will now have that date in their calendars. They'll now have that training plan in place, or they'll still be finalising it, to peak on the 15th of November. You know, we are only in April.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have your form now in April when you want it in November.
Well, you can, but you might have to have a dip in between.
Well, yeah.
You've got to get that scheduling right. One rider who we know is going to be on form today, I think, is going to be Khan Kane. He really has been riding strongly, and this course is a course he knows well. Historically, for me, this is the sort of course that would suit him on the way through to that race finish at 45 kilometres into the route. Sharp, punchy, not massive super climbs, but lots of very high intensity efforts. What I can't believe when we talk about Khan Ken is that he has not had a win on the Sunday Race Club yet.
No.
Seriously. He has taken overall sprint jerseys. He's taken overall King of the Mountains jerseys.
He's had top fives, though, hasn't he?
He has a third and a second place, but never yet taken the win. And if you had said that to me at the start of any time in the last 12 months, I'd have been surprised. So I would have thought he would be up there. Now, one man who we know is going to be battling away for the win, Nick Squillari, back on form again.
Yeah, he's riding strongly. And you can see there, just pushing on. We're at the 24-kilometre marker. So up and over the Aquarium climb, up and over the Leeward Desert climb. We're on the transition towards the Tel Marie, but sprint. Fairly flat. You can see that at the moment on the top right-hand corner of your screen. The red line gives you the gradient and the parkour that's coming up. The yellow vertical line is where our rider, who we are in with at the moment, is on that course. And then you've also got the satellite navigation image overlaid on top, where you can see the red riders from Category 4, the blue jerseys of Category 5, and the purple jerseys of Category 6, all coming together on this section of course. So Pino at the front, Squillari, well, Francis Pino's just closed down that gap and gone over the top of Nick Squillari. Giuliano is there, Paul Garin is there, Mason Rocker is there as well. The riders at the front of the Category 4 pack now all coming back together, but Pino continuing to push on the pedals. He doesn't want to let off the pace. They want to keep, whether it's him or Spratt, they want to keep this pace rolling. They're up at 43 kilometres an hour at the moment. And I think there are a few riders in here who are trying to tire the group. But the smart rider, well, the rider my money would be on, if I was a betting woman, and I'm not, is sat at the back of that bunch.
But you didn't put a name to them. Any one of the riders, whoever's at the back, that's the one.
Well, the smart riders are at the back of that bunch.
All
All the tired riders are at the back of the bunch.
Well, it depends on your point of view, because for me, I would be wanting to animate it a bit, because you can't rely. I think you want to be making it hard enough that when you get into the hilly sections, you really are making it hard. Coming in to our climb, coming into the aquarium climb, Category 1, the last group to set out from the race start. Well, it is the riders in that Category 1 race field. They come underneath the polka dot banner as one big group. The world champions sat at what is about 8th or 9th wheel at the moment as they come onto this climb. You can see that we've got the green jersey there, the sprint jersey, as they start to make their way up. They are still chasing Linda Milostic, who's got a 15-second lead. So put that number in your head, 15 seconds. That's the lead Milostic had coming into the climb. Place your guesses now, because if you are guessing that they're going to be at the top before him, or whether certainly the Milostic will beat them to the top, my bet is it's come together and it's broken apart again.
Do you think? Well,
yeah, that's my
Jason
guess.
Osborne, Hayden Pucker, Mikhail Kaminsky, Stefan van Elst, Leonard Tugels, Bjorn Andresen, Dovin Nitko, all in the mix here, all in this group. Christoph Kroll is there as well. They are rolling. Michael Knudsen is there too. There's Bjorn Andresen. We can see him there on the screen, up and out of the saddle in his pain cave. Part and parcel of this group on the aquarium climb. They're coming up towards a flatter section where would I anticipate the group rolling back. Michael Vink is the rider pushing on at the front of the pack, whilst we just slip in with the Category 2 pack, who have gone underneath the banner at the top of the climb. Maciej Mendakowicz picking up the polka dot skin suit. Look at the tail on that Category 2 pack. It's a huge group of riders going up and over the top of the aquarium climb. That pack of riders, I can tell you, 45 riders in that leading group.
So 45 riders in that leading group as they go over the top. Mendakowicz looking for his 15th win on the Sunday Race Club, one of our prolific winners. And speaking of prolific winners, we're in with Michael Vink, who is now chasing Linda Milostic. He's trying to break clear of the group. He's got Stefan van Elst for company. Jason Osborne is kicking down hard. So is Marshall Wu, Bjorn Andreasen, as they've come on. They've not left it long into this climb to put the pressure down to get that chain tight. And Vink at the moment setting the tempo on the front here of this pack, and look at the gap they brought down. They have come together very, very quickly with Linda Milostic, and in doing so, they have fractured the back of the group, with one or two riders now being distanced by that increase in pace. Interestingly, though, it's a big, big pack in Category 1, almost as big as the pack in Category 2.
Well, the pack in Category 2, as we said, 45 riders, which is bigger than the entire race field plus more on Category 1. So 33 riders in that Category 1 race field start sheet today. 45 riders still in this pack that you are watching at the moment as they head down off of the aquarium climb. They will very shortly be running into the base of the Leeward Desert climb. Well, there's the question. 45 riders at the top of the Leeward Desert climb? I don't think so.
Let's see how it plays out. We're back in with Category 1. World champ on the front, Jason Osborne. Riders distance behind here. Interestingly, Jasper Paradians, the rider with the green skin suit of the sprint leader, nicely in with this group. And the way that this pack is riding at the moment, these sprints. Now, if you want to take away a sprint win, you're going to need to stay in the pack, I think, because our next sprint, it's only 2 sprints today. Those 2 sprints with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points available for the riders are going to be dealt with at pace, and staying in the group is going to be key if the group is still together. Vink and Van Elst on your screens. We're in with Van Elst's avatar in the main screen as well. You see both riders in person out of the saddle here.
I love this when we get a multiple pain cave shot and you can see the riders side by side in the pack on the screen, or battling for a sprint on the screen, and you can see the shot in terms of what is going on in their pain caves as well.
And you'll notice both riders with, and we have remarked on this about Michael Vink before, having a very clean and tidy pain cave. It's really essential. My co-host here, I have had an insight into the state of her pain cave. Emma has many fantastic and amazing qualities, including being a world-class UCI commentator, but having a tidy pain cave is not going to win her any medals at all in that category.
Well, I do remember when
That's just,
one of the
it's not true.
No. I do remember. I'm not sure I should actually say this out loud. I do remember when one of the wives of one of our Category 1 riders messaged me and told me that the Category 1 rider had been forced to tidy their pain cave because it was shocking having it on screen in the mess that it was. Well, Michael Knudsen, the boss moves only, selling the fastest, moving on quickly, selling the fastest time up the aquarium climb at 4 minutes 43 seconds. Maciej Mundakowicz in Category 2, Niall Batty in Category 3. Really great and strong climbing, and I can tell you 20 riders, 21, 22, because Glennis has just gone over the top, but he's one of the riders distance from that Category 1 pack. But in Category 1, Knudsen, Van Elst, Kaminski, Power, Pedersen, Vujasin, Kugels, Kroll, Pucker, Panizza, Paradians, Jones, Andreasen, et al. All go over the top together.
Now, they're going over the top in Category 1 as Category 2 reach the base of the Leeward Desert. You basically descend down from the aquarium climb. You drop below sea level to the base of the climb. Onto the climb. Mr. X100 has gone over the top of the climb, attacked on the downhill and given himself some space here by going on the attack. Mr. X100 with in excess of 165 Sunday Race Club participations.
Oh, that's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a heck of a lot of racing. It's a lot of race miles. It's a lot of race distance as well. And these riders putting it in week after week, effort after effort. I tell you something, Mr. X100, that was a smart move by him because he has got himself enough room that this bunch are going to come running onto his heels pretty much towards the top of the first phase of this climb, rather than necessarily being in that group and suffering for the first section. He's been able to climb the first part of this at his own pace. The response has come from the rest of the group as SS and Co now go around him. And the group has already split behind these riders that we're seeing on our screens. We've already seen a number of riders distance. You can see them just coming around what is their right-hand turn. They're just going underneath that yellow set of arches, and they are out of the running. If you lose this group now, you're not going to be in contention as you come in to the finish. This is the lead group. Ross Forster, SS, Shuren right up at the front. Wozniak still in the mix as well. Rios in here. And this X100, Frederick Gombert, one of those riders who I expect to see going really well today on this course. The back of the group, you can see they are fighting to stay on the wheels. One by one, they're being put in trouble as Fawcett continues to push on here. I think he probably takes the prize for the most Spartan view of a camera. Not the usual outdoors that we see from Ross Fawcett. That's a very Spartan pain cave today.
Well, I'll tell you something, Fawcett, regardless of what his pain cave looks like, the power in his legs is getting better and better and better. We've seen him with some really fast finishes recently on the Sunday Race Club, and the strength of Ross Fawcett and how he is riding and racing at the moment, absolutely brilliant. I think he's going to be right in the mix at the end. I was just sitting there thinking about 165 performances on the Sunday Race Club for X100. That's over 3 years every Sunday, and I know for a fact he's not been ever present every Sunday. There are some Sundays where X100 isn't on the start line. That is a long commitment to the Sunday Race Club.
I know.
It's great.
I know. I've been here for quite a lot of them, but not all of them. I've got to say, Ross Fawcett, he's lagging in the stakes in terms of participation. 71.
That is still some
unofficially
going.
It's still some going. That's still well over a year of Sunday spent on the Sunday Race Club, and it gives you an indication of the commitment of our riders. Interestingly, Ross Fawcett, you were talking about his form. I was just having a look. His last win was on the Jebel Hafid back in December, and that's really telling because he is indeed coming back into form. Good to see Walter at the moment on our screen. Simon Walter,
that
definitely.
was a great effort.
It was a fantastic climb. He's been rewarded with the polka dot skin suit, and with good reason. We see him week in, week out, really giving it some, and he's going to be rewarded because that polka dot skin suit means he's got the fastest through the segment up there. But not only there, he's also got that because that's the Leeward Desert climb. That's the second of our climbs. That means he's going to take away the prizes for the top prize for winning the climb segments overall. So a great ride by him. So Simon Walter in the polka dot skin suit on the category 2 race. In category 1, the aquarium climb, the fastest time up the aquarium climb in category 1 going to Michael Knudsen. He is the current leader in category 1 in the polka dot skin suit, the climbs competition. Van Elst in second, Kaminsky in third, Cal Power in fourth, and Niall Petterson in fifth. They've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. It's going to be critical where they come on this climb as to who is taking away the climb competition overall. This will be key, the next few hundred meters.
And look, the polka dot skin suit at the back of the group, and that again is another technique for getting the fastest time. So Knudsen in that polka dot skin suit at the back of the group. Now watch him try and work his way through to the front as they come to the polka dots banner. If you go into a bottom of a climb with a group, sit at the back, because technically it's the time that counts. And if all you do is move from the back of the group to the front of the group, then you've got the fastest time on the climb. But Michael Vink digging in deep with Hayden Pucker at the moment.
And this is the danger, isn't it? You start too far back. You want to start at the back to get the fastest time through the segment, but you've got to then move up when Vink goes, because at the top of this climb, this two-stage climb, as you go over into that flat section, that's where the time is made. That's where the distance is made. That's where the gap is put in. It happens time and time again. It's no good being in contention to the last 2 meters and then letting go. You've got to push right the way over the top. Vink pushes. He's got Pucker for company. Hayden Pucker on his wheels. It's a 2-second gap back to the rest of the bunch, being led by Jason Osborne, the world champion. Michael Knudsen right on his heels. Marshall Wu in the mix. So is Van Elst. They're going to look to close this down as they come up over the top. And for all of the playing with position in the bunch, if you see an attack by a race winner go on the climb, they could open up more time and take away that segment time. There needs to be a response here for Knudsen in terms of taking away the top spot. He wants points on this. He can't be below the top 5 if he wants points. But look at this. The race has opened up. And because this is a scramble for the overall, for the race overall, it's not just about the segment presses. Vink pushes on. He's really giving this big gas at the moment. Pucker goes with him, and they continue to push. 8.5 watts per kilo still coming out of Michael Vink. This is going to do damage. If you are not in contention now, you are in trouble.
Yeah, this is not about the climb. This is about the race attack and hiding the race attack on the climb. So Vink, well, take a look at that. Doesn't take the fastest time up the climb. Michael Knudsen does. Moving from the back of the group to the front of the group was the way to do it. So Knudsen takes the time and continues to take the points in that competition in category 1. 3:03. Simon Betts, 3:18. Kochkov, 3:38. 3:43 for Daniel Cadiz. Mark Tong, 3:49. And Thomas Dvorak at 4:15. Fabulous times on that climb, right the way across those 6 categories.
So Dvorak tapping out the nose smoothly there, taking away the gap as we see an attack on the front now. 2 very experienced escapees. Peter Milostic, the father of Lyndon and Riley, a former road pro, I think, if I remember correctly, in Peter Milostic, alongside Mr. X100. These two are regularly out on the race route away and clear. At the moment, their gap is 7 seconds. Betty, Krasnich, Mendakwitz, Walter, all in the group behind. So is Cantazaro. They want to let these riders go a little way just to take some pressure off, I think, but then close the gap down when it matters. The category Category 2 riders at 25 kilometres, just ticking over 23 kilometres underneath the wheels for our Category 1 group, and the group has fractured. It's fractured big style. The pressure that was applied at the front of the race has produced a race-winning move, in my eyes, at least made a very, very, very select group of the riders at the front. Pilka, Vujasin, Chugels, Bink, Wu, Safrazadi, Jones, all in the mix with Benitza. But this is the group you need to be in. If you are not in this group on our screens in Category 1, you're not going to be in with a chance of taking the win at the finish, because the riders behind are not going to get back. There is too much firepower. And even if probably half of this group hesitated and weren't prepared to do, weren't prepared to pull, you're still not going to get back to them. There is just too much power in this front group.
Well, I tell you, Peter Milostic's best position ever in the National Individual Time Trial Championships on Australia, second in 2004.
Wow.
Form 4 years. Time trial specialist.
He must have beat some serious names there as well.
Oh, yeah. But regularly in the top 10. Absolutely phenomenal time trialer.
Peter Milostic, great race, great rider. Making his way in and through. I'm just going to steal some of Emma's equipment in the studio here.
Well, I'll tell you what, X100, Peter Milostic and Phil Graves are 3 riders now at the top here. 26.4 kilometres into this race. The riders moving away. David Dunn, Daniel Mundell coming over as well. Now, that's an interesting move. Just coming up onto Rick Van Urk, the rider we saw put in a really fast sprint first at the Aldar HQ sprint in Category 3. He's going to sit in the group, but Phil Graves continuing to push on X100. They want to keep this pace strong. They're up on over 40 kilometres an hour at the moment, and they're now going to start that real transition. It's a long run through to the first section of climbs at Tel Marie, but they do not want to make this easy for everybody.
Well, I was just taking a little bit of a quick look at Peter Milostic's result in that time trial. I'm just going to go to that. That was in 2004. 2004 is the year after I finished racing competitively. 2003, I raced against Stuart Dangerfield, somebody who Peter Milostic beat back in 2004. He actually put 20 seconds into him in the national time trial. In Australia. Stuart Dangerfield, a British rider who spent most of his summers in Australia, most of UK winters in the Australian summers. So, yeah, that is absolute class.
There is a theory called 6 degrees of separation. That anybody around the world, you are only 6 people from.
Okay.
At a maximum. You and Peter Milostic, even before Sunday Race Club, it was just 1.
There you go.
1 degree of separation.
Yes.
You didn't even realise it.
No, didn't know that.
There we go.
Yeah. So all our riders up and racing. Dylan Kennett leading in Category 5 at the moment. Just putting the pressure on here at 37.7k into 45 kilometres as they make their way up this climb. As we take a look on our left-hand screen at Category 5, right-hand side of the screen, Thomas Dvorak at the moment. He is leading in Category 6. He's got the gap on Riley Milostic, Drew Abbott, David Milano, Julio Orrego, as well as Alan Steele and Vladimir Torre. In fact, that big chasing group behind Dvorak really starting to push on. And Dvorak at the moment looking good. Still got some distance to go. The big climb, though, that he's hitting here, this is the Tel Marie Dune climb. He's just got underneath the polka dot button. He's carrying lots of pace with that momentum.
And that is one of the real tips and keys. The tips and keys, the key tips here. Get my words in the right order. One of the key tips here, really utilising the downhills to take that momentum into the climbs. Really, really a key skill. But the pack behind having done the same, and well, look at that. They are quickly on his heels.
So here we go, the Category 6 riders are furthest down the race route. They've been racing for 1 hour and 5 minutes. Category 5, 1 hour, 55 minutes, or just over now for Category 4. The 4 sets of riders on your screen separated out 5 minutes between each category, between 4 and 3, and 2 separated by 10 minutes, so a slightly bigger gap. If we had 2 more bars to the left of your screen, that would be categories 1 and 2, but these 4 very close together on their departure and very close together out on race route, separated by 5, just under 5 kilometres at the moment. Alan Steele leading the Category 6 race, the furthest rider down race route at the moment at 39.1 kilometres. Each and every week, the My Whoosh Sunday Race Club are bringing you race action across all 6 race categories, rather than just our elites. All riders are subject to verification across all of our race categories. All of our riders have to go through the video checks, the weigh-ins, the height measurement, as well as having the prescribed set of equipment. You can find out all the details on the mywhoosh.com website underneath the race manual. Don't forget, of course, that we bring coverage of all 6 race categories to you each and every week. We being not just Emma Martin in the commentary box alongside me and Matt Payne, both, of course, commentators for My Whoosh for some years now, but also, of course, the big team behind the scenes in broadcast, as well as the people who actually make the game happen. Now, big sprint here as they go through. Carlos Ospina putting in the fastest time there alongside Rick Van Erck, interestingly. The Category 2 and Category 3 sprint leaders going through together.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Love it. Neck and neck, battling each other. Ospina,
producing fast times.
Oh, I know. Rick Van Erck, we've talked about him before in terms of took that first sprint of Category 3, continuing to do that. Carlos Ospina in Category 2, absolutely a class rider. Has podiumed in the National Time Trial Championships, has podiumed in the National Road Race. He is a star.
Is indeed. Let's go across from our categories to Category 2. Now, as we see one of the teammates of Mr. X100, part of that UAE clan team, SS, on the move. Now, SS and Mr. X100, 2 very different styles. Mr. X100, very good on those long efforts, the long, big climbs. SS, really more of a sprint attack, and a rider who's come back and is back to his best once again. They're making the racing hard here in Category 2. Long-time adversary, Phil Graves, is on his way up here as well. I mean, we're talking about the racing way back. If you go way back, SS, Mr. X100 and Phil Graves, they were up there and racing out at the front of races a long time ago. They're still up and racing. As we move across to our Category 5 leader, Dylan Kennett, he has only got 6 riders in front of him on the road at the moment. Less than 100 meters separating Thomas Dvorak, who is our race leader at the moment on the right of your screen, from the leader of Category 5, who is coming up fast, Dylan Kennett, who is on the move. Dvorak at the moment, though, well, he has got every single pedal stroke right so far in terms of the climbs competition. He got the fastest time on climb number 1. He's flown up the Leeward Desert climb. He goes over the Telmarine Dune climb. He is going to take away the win in the climbs competition in Category 6. Dylan Kennett should have the fastest time up here. He put in an attack at the bottom in Category 5. You can tell that he's a rider with the blue jersey. He's going to put a final kick in here. Now, this is going to give him extra points in that climbs competition. But I think we're going to have to wait for the existing leader before he came through the climb to go through. You can see the chasing group on your left-hand side here, but this chasing group of Roy Vahan, Mukhtari, Zanaska, and Zimiel does not contain the polka dot skin suit at the moment. It's certainly not in within the leaders of that group as they come up. We're just seeing Mattila push on here to move up through this segment, and there's no sign at the moment of the Category 5 Mountains leader prior to coming in. We're going to see who's going to take that away. Now, Kennett goes through. Dvorak goes through. Kennett has got the polka dot jersey on his shoulders. I think he's done enough to take away the lead and the overall win in that competition in Category 5. He now also has 2 riders in front of him, Dvorak and Milano, who are leading in Category 6. They are about 16 seconds up the road from Kennett. Kennett has got company, though, and this is going to be very interesting how this plays out, because Category 6 and Category 5 leaders are coming together.
They are indeed. And for anybody who is or has not been following Dylan Kennett's story, Kennett, some time ago back in 2015, was part and parcel of the Team Pursuit World Championship squad. And absolutely a phenomenal track rider and a phenomenal rider many, many years ago, returning to racing. He joined Category 6 on the Sunday Race Club, took a few sprint wins and then took a few wins on top of that, progressed to Category 5. He's now working his way up through Category 5, and I think if he takes the win today, it'll be a second win in Category 5. He and I are having a bit of a debate and discussion at the moment. I think he's going to work his way all the way through to at least winning Category 3. He thinks Category 4 is where he's going to get to. I think I might be going to...
I wouldn't bet against him going to Category 2, to be fair.
No, neither would I.
But
I think I've underestimated where he's going to get to.
Form is temporary, class is permanent.
Forever.
He is class. Now, Nick Scolari goes in and over the top. The man whose Strava feed has him listed as smashing biscuits and time trials. But at the moment, he smashed the climb. He goes over the top first. He's not got the fastest time. That goes to Daniel Cadiz, I think, going over there, certainly in terms of points. But they are just ahead of the Category 1 leaders. And the Category 1 leaders, it is Michael Vink in the yellow and in the white jersey of world champion Jason Osborne. Their gap moves this 22 seconds to Leonard Chugels, and the chasers behind. Our race is really getting smashed apart here on the Telmarie course in Arabia.
It is indeed. And Vink and Osborne 1 and 2. Vink and Osborne, well, it was Osborne and Vink back in January. Will that be reversed today in April for the second edition of the Arabia Telmarie course here on the Sunday Race Club for the men? The rider on their heels, Syed Safrazadi, is on our screen at the moment. Ivan Nuki is on the heels of Vink and Osborne. Safrazadi further back in that pack. There he is, Ivan Nuki. Turn your head. He's riding the other way around. There he is. Excellent. We've got him the right way round. As if by magic, Nuki is on the back wheel of Vink and Osborne. Perfect place to be.
I tell you something, if there's ever a rider I want to go ride, not just on my whoosh with, but actually out on the open road, it's Ivan Nuki, but only so long as he lets me sit on his wheel and doesn't go too hard, because we know just how classy he is. When I talked about taking this stuff in earlier on, I think it was...
he's also a really nice man.
He is indeed, and I think you probably would honour that and just take it easy just for me. But I tell you something, he's doing a great job. You see, he's using those skills at the moment to try and hold Vink and Osborne as long as he can. He's just now having to let go of those wheels. And Osborne and Vink now starting to ride clear of Ivan Nuki. Nuki ahead of Kiesnowski and Velis, both class riders as well. They're on the left-hand side of your screen, right-hand side of your screen. Really interesting move, this. The breakaway of Graves, Mr. X100 and SS have gone clear. They're still clear of Milostic and Co.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, so here we go. So up on to the top of the climb, they're going to come up over the top of this ridge. Now, this is not one of our key climbs in terms of categorized climbs, but it's key and decisive in this race because we have got Thiem, Miller, Nair, Ritter, Corrales all on their way. They're looking to close the gap down. Milostic's just up the road. The furthest riders down the road is the breakaway of 3 on the front of the race. This is all about pushing on. absolutely time to shift it. They've got to move. If they don't move now, they're not going to get them back until they get down to the bottom of the descent, because we know X100 is going to push on in that descent. It's his trademark move. 14 seconds from the front of the race to Zach Nair here with Thiem, with Miller making the way up. That's Milostic just in front. They're going to get him back for certain as they go into this descent. But the Category 2 race, no longer one big bunch, it's one long line.
Well, it is indeed one long line. And just before we start heading into the finish, I have just had a message from one of the riders not racing today, normally part and parcel of the Sunday race club, Mr. Sebza. He's not racing today, but he's watching. Hello, hello. Heard us talking about racing the train in Wales, and would also like to let us know there's an awesome event in Slovakia on the 14th of June called Faster Than a Train.
Yes.
Yes, this time on a bike, 60 kilometres on the road with a bit of uphill all the way.
Fantastic. Where can we follow that? Do you know?
You can race the train all over the place, whether on foot or on bike, at Faster Than a Train, if you should want to have a look.
Okay, so at Faster Than a Train, and see if you can race. Oh, do you know that's
race the train, Faster Than a Train, foot, bike.
Do you know what? Where we haven't been for a while, and I think both these riders would absolutely love going back to, is the UCI course. We get to race the tram, and the course, because when our riders set off from the race start in Zurich, you get out on race route and you come around the right hand turn. You go on the first time, you do a right hand turn, you race the tram, and you literally could go past. You see Category 6 getting passed by the tram, and you get to see Category 1 blast the train into the distance. Now, Dylan Kennett and Thomas Dvorak at the race lead, and it's Kennett who now takes over the front of the race, opens up the gap, goes underneath the banner. What a finish. He takes the win from Thomas Dvorak, the winner in Category 5. Category 5 winner Kennett, Category 6 winner Dvorak. Race winners in qualifier race number 3, but it's not that far behind to Category 4 and Category 3, with 2 and 1 still to come. 2 solo winners so far. Emma, Category 6 and Category 1, we saw Kennett and Dvorak solo clear.
We did.
Class ride by them. But is that indicative of what we're going to see from our elites?
Well, it's really interesting, isn't it? I said to you last time that 1.2 seconds separates the top 7 in Category 2. We could well see that. We've got big packs still rolling. Squilari is about to try and emulate Category 5 and Category 6 by continuing to push. Nick Squilari on some superb form at the moment. He's got 9 seconds for Bulgarin. Cadiz Barrett are 11 seconds behind. So is Spratt. This isn't quite over yet. There's 700 metres to go, but pretty much it's a downhill run and then a flat finish line. Squilari can hold this, but Bulgarin is desperately trying to close the gap.
Well, you talked about the track skills of Dylan Kennett. He managed to go clear and break clear. This is like a pursuit between Bulgarin and Squilari. At the moment, Nick Squilari, well, there may be biscuits at the end of this if he can take away the win. He's got to keep pushing. 200 metres to go. The banner is round that left-hand turn. Here he goes, out of the saddle. Category 6 and Category 5 were solo wins. It's going to be a solo win for Category 4. Nick Squilari comes underneath the line. 3 solo winners from 3 categories so far on qualifier race number 3. As Bulgarin comes in, he's ahead of a chasing Spratt, Barrett and Cadiz, who will round out the top 5.
Well, should we just do a little quick run through there? Because it was indeed Nick Squilari in 1, Bulgarin in 2, Barrett in 3, Spratt in 4 and Cadiz in 5. In category 5, Kennett came in first, Verham took second, Zanaska took third, Mortek took 4th and Roy took 5th. In category 6, we saw Dvorak come over the line in 1. Arago took 2nd, Molano 3rd, Milostic took 4th and Abbott took 5th.
So for the full results, don't forget you can go to mywish.com/results. Make sure you do jump on board there. Don't forget top 10 riders, individually all take prizes in the qualifiers and in our finals. We have prizes for the segments and for the overall in terms of sprints and climbs. And of course, once we get to our finals next week, which I hope you will be joining us for, we have the team competition in as well. The top 7 teams taking away prizes in each category next week. And remember, those teams are made up of a minimum of 3 riders, and it's 3 riders' times that are added together to give the team time, a maximum of 5 riders, and that will be absolutely key. Now, we still have category 3, 2, and 1 to be decided. At the moment, category 1 are at 37.5k. Category 2 leaders at the moment, and that is our leading riders in that, currently at 38.4k. The leaders in category 3, well, Carol Sladek at the moment is at 43.4k, but 200 meters behind him, you can see on the right hand side of your screen, it's a huge group of riders all chasing, and it's a bit of a who's who of category 3.
Well, and they're 200 meters back from Sladek at the moment. So Karol Sladek, one of the Polish riders, in fact, one of the Polish live coaches, and regularly has got a strong crew on those live training sessions. He's doing the business here in category 3. He's been getting stronger and stronger. I think actually he's been really working out how to win the races necessarily than getting stronger and stronger. It's been strong in technique and race craft that he's been getting better at. And Sladek out front at the moment. Arago, the rider leading the charge behind, 22 seconds back. But take a look on the right-hand side. Arago has a big group of riders. Walter Clays is in there. Nicole Kansara is in there. Olga Kochkov is in there. It's a strong group. Bakker is in there as well, and he's been putting in some strong performances in category 3. So the question is, can Sladek stay clear? He's got the descent, and then he's got the run to the finish. Just 800 meters to go on the left-hand side of your screen. He's still about 150 meters clear.
And Sladek has so far his best result, a second. He's also got a 3rd place. This would give him the full spectrum of colours of medal. He would get gold, silver, and bronze. He's got to stay clear of the chase behind. I think he's going to do that. Karol Sladek is not going to let a win slip through his fingers. Surely at this stage, he needs to keep an eye on those riders behind, because the pace is hot behind, because they are all contesting the positions behind number 1. But at the moment, race leader is on his way in category 3. We saw a solo win in category 6, 5, and 4. It's now going to be a solo win in category 3 for Karol Sladek, who comes in underneath the line to take the win in qualifier 3.
It does indeed, and the race is on behind. Arago, Montoya, Kochkov all battling it out. Nicholas Arago absolutely dialing it on the front here. He wants 2nd place today. Walter Clays, well, he's leading the charge of the group behind. Kansara, Diduch, Paredes, all in the mix, but it is Arago who comes through for 2nd. The sprint is on for 3rd. Walter Clays picks that up from Kansara, I think. Let's take a look. Yep. Sladek in 1, Arago in 2, Clays in 3, Kansara in 4. Diduch takes 5th place today.
Well, Emma did say that we would see sprints today. She predicted some sprints. We have had some sprints. They've all been
for second,
third,
and
fourth places also. They've not been for the win. Now, is this going to change in category 2 and category 1? Possibly, because category 2 are long-term breakaways. It is game over. I'll have a G, please. It's a G for group, because it is a big group of riders now at the front of category 2, coming up to the top of our final climb, our final categorized climb, the Telmarie Dune climb. The 1 kilometer, 10% slope is crested. And as they go over the top, this is the time for a counter attack. If somebody wants to do this, they have got one more substantial rise on the way through, but it's only a few hundred meters of climbing. It's going to be really key how these riders respond going over the top. They're just in front of the category 1 race, and it looks to me like Michael Vink might be in trouble here, because Jason Osborne, the world champion, has attacked Vink on the upper slopes here, and Vink is having to respond. Vink in the yellow. Osborne in the white of the world champion with those rainbow bands on the ends of his shorts, of his sleeves, and of course right round his midriff. The world champion Jason Osborne goes underneath the My Whoosh climb banner here at the end of the Tel Marib Dune climb, and Michael Vick has come back to him. They go in and through. They know now that they are descending towards the finish. The fastest time on that climb set by Jason Osborne, a 2 minute 30. So 2.3, 2 minutes 30 seconds, 439 from Osborne.
Yeah, now in category 2, 2:59, Noel Beatty. In 3, Francis Pino. In 4, Oswaldo Gaviria. In 5, and Thomas Dvorak in category 6, all selling the fastest times in their respective categories on that Tel Marib Dune climb. Well, category 1's on the left-hand side. Vink and Osborne locked together in battle, continuing to work their way through the category 2 race field. On the right-hand side, well, it's your main screen now. Paul Skierski, Zach Nair, Christoph Thiem, Phil Graves, Ross Fawcett, and SS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Carlos Ospina joins the gang as well.
So just ticking back fractionally to the Tel Marib Dune climb. What time was that time by Jason Osborne? Can you remember?
2:30.
Fastest time on the
Dentist time.
Pardon?
Dentist time.
2:30. Oh dear, that's an old bad. It's a bad old joke. Fastest time on the Tel Marib Dune climb. The record so far to date. The fastest time on the Tel Marib Dune climb to date was Ollie Jones, set in January of this year in qualifier number 2, 2 minutes 42 seconds.
Wow.
That shows you just how fast Jason Osborne has gone up and over that climb.
Wow. Well, there we go. It takes the record as well. And I bet Michael Vink beat the old record as well in second.
100%.
But we are currently in with the category 2 leading pack, and it is a pack. Mendakowitz and Kayan and Ritter are in the group behind. And if you look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that second group. They are not that far back at 9 seconds. And I'll tell you something, Mendakowitz is dialing it on the front at the moment to try and bring the gap and close it down to make that first group a bigger group. But Graves, SS, Nair, Thiem will not want them to rejoin.
So the express train of category 1 starting to mix it up with category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen as they get closer and closer to the leaders of category 2 and closer to the finish. It could have an effect if you can jump onto the right set of wheels, and we're seeing that on the left-hand side of your screen as Miller, Biarhead, Ken all try to hitch a lift on the express train. The TJV, the high-speed train, the bullet train of Vink and Osborne, world-class riders leading category 1, and at the moment they're taking a little bit of shelter here actually from the category 2 riders, just taking a bit of a breather, and it shows you even the world's best need to take a little bit of a rest. Behind, right-hand side of your screen, interesting to see Paul Skierski really pushing here. 5 seconds ahead of Christoph Thiem. The groups are all over the road in category 2. You can see chasers on the right-hand side in category 2. His left-hand side, Michael Vink puts in a 10 watts per kilo dig. Little bit of a riser here on the way in as Vink puts the throttle to the floorboard at the moment. Osborne is responding at 10 watts per kilo to try and come back at him. Here he comes. He's onto his wheel. Vink at nearly 600 watts there on the push. But look at this. Osborne comes back, comes alongside and says, well, you tried. It hasn't worked so far.
It's like a match sprint on the track, isn't it? Cat and mouse is playing. They've got 1,700 meters still to go, and I think we're going to see this now.